The settlers are moving in a systematic, strategic way to try to gain a foothold on the access and the direct neighborhoods that are directly connected to the Al-Aqsa area and Al-Aqsa compound. The idea again for them, there's been the effort to try to rebuild the third temple by destroying Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock and build the third temple in there. They already have the designs, the plans. So these takeover of these houses, the evictions, have to be understood as part of this overall long-term strategy. I think the Israeli government has shifted more and more to the right and have moved all to the extreme right. And I think when President Trump was elected, this was almost an open season for Netanyahu and the Israeli political spectrum to unleash all types of violence on the Palestinians. I do think now with the Biden administration, Netanyahu is trying to test the ground.
Now we are at another crossroad. So what do you think should be done? Like, what should the Muslim world, what should United States do in order to deal with the suffering going on in that part of the world?
You know, with about 103-year to 104-year challenge for the Palestinians, because I did the crisis of Palestinians with the arrival of the British in 1917 and the dismantling of the Ottoman state that made Palestine a colonial possession of the British. So we've been facing a settler colonial project that is still unfolding, and on top of it, an apartheid structure that is dealing with the Palestinians. Now, what the Muslim world should do, I think the Muslim world should be expressing their unquestionable and unrestrained solidarity with the Palestinians. They should actually re-engage the economic embargo, engaging in PDS and economic pressure on Israel. And also to try to provide some military support for the Palestinians that give them the ability to defend themselves, because the Palestinians don't have the ability to defend themselves. So that's, again, those are the items in there. It's not enough just every few months or every year to stand up and condemn what Israel does. That does not change the equation. I am a person that advocates for the Boycott, Divestment and Sanction Movement, the PDS movement. And I think the Muslim world should embrace the PDS movement very much so, and actually set their red lines in relations to Israel economic penetration in parts of the Muslim world and normalization. And the Muslim world, 1.8 billion people with 55 Muslim majority state that have airplanes, that have rocket launchers, that they have all the military equipment. They're using it against Yemen, but they have the complete absence of engagement with supporting the Palestinians who are fighting settler colonialism. And I think when you have a state that actually chooses to demolish an apartment building with 80 families living in it and think that this is actually a justifiable use of force, something has to be done in order to challenge this. And I think the Muslim world should be put to the test. Emotional support is not sufficient.